For a burglar, when this happens, they just want to get the hell out of there. Like, they'll go knock somewhere else.
Right.
Look at this lady. Look at her. What are you doing?
She's so cute.
Thank you. Kate says hi. Hi, Kate.
I'm Lester Holt.
Howdy, old edge. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
And we're here to discuss not only a brand new Dateline, but a fucking J-Bank episode.
Here's Josh Mankiewicz.
How stoked are you, Kate?
Mank Tank is back.
Yeah! It feels good. And boy, does he have some gold J-Mank for us today. There's a few things that he says and does where I was like slow clapping. Oh, it was so good. I'm going to read you the IMDb, and then I'll get your thoughts. A teen returns home from school to find her father, a celebrity hairdresser, brutally murdered in their backyard. A neighbor's security camera helps investigators identify unlikely suspects in an illicit affair as the case captivates the country. That description gives a hell of a lot away, but I think we can agree that the title, which rules, I'm on board with this title, but it tells you who did it straight away.
The title ruined the whole thing.
Ruined for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look. Okay, so the title is The
Widow of Woodland Hills.
And as you're about to find out, the victim is a male. So clearly, if the episode name is about, I mean, widow is gendered, right? Because a male is a widower.
Yeah.
So, like, if the title of the episode is about a widow of Woodland Hills, she's probably the killer, right?
Of course. So... When the episode started, I'm watching it with Jillionaire. I was like, oh, I don't know this one. And she turns to me and goes, you don't know this story? All sassy.
That's amazing.
Like she's got something on me. And I was like, no, I don't know this story. And she's like, oh. But then I go, okay, well, the title makes me believe that the wife did it. And then she's like, I don't remember.
What does she remember? That he's a hairstylist?
I don't know.
Look, this was a 2020 and a 48 hours. And I almost texted you and said, let's do a later record so I could watch it. But here's what I'm going to do. Future Kurt's going to pop in after he watches the 48 hours because they have an interview with the killer from jail. And they talk specifically about their little mutual jerk sesh. So, like, I need more deets on that.
Wait. They talk about what?
A mutual jerk sesh that they had between one another.
You mean jerking each other off?
No. Well, is that what mutual means? I mean, they're doing it to themselves. Remember, because someone showed herself? She showed herself, and that's all he said. You look shocked. Do you not remember this from the trial?
I don't remember that specifically, no.
Oh, well, don't worry. We'll get to it. But overall, Kate, other than the spoiler title, what did you think of this episode?
It was good to have J-Mank back.
What? What's your beef? Is it... Okay, there were two huge laughs for me in this ep, so I can't wait to talk about them. But let's get started. Our story begins in Woodland Hills, California, January 2017. And J-Mank, straight away, we're setting the scene with gorgeous B-roll of a movie projector. And I'm like, oh yeah, J-Mank, do it. And he's like, a story like a movie? But what kind? Mm-hmm. Maybe this is why I loved it, because off the jump, I'm like, here's my shit.
But why was it a story like a movie? It's a murder like any other murder.
Yeah.
Is it because it's in L.A.?
I think that's why the prosecutor talked about that. I mean, 3 different people be talking about movie stuff, how this is like a movie in this episode. And every time I want to go like, what's movie about this? Like, this is textbook.
No.
This is like a glossy Snapped.
Is it because he, as a hairdresser, sometimes worked on famous people?
Yeah, on famous Jennifers.
Jennifer Lopez, on Jennifer Love Hewitt.
But he wasn't necessarily a movie hairdresser.
No, but he was living that American dream because he's born in Canada and stuff. But we'll get to that. 911 call, we hear...
16-year-old Isabella Sementilli walked into her backyard and found her father in a pool of blood. And she called 911.
To come home to find him bloody and like on the back porch sprawled out. Or is he in his chair? Point is, he's not moving and he's bloody. She calls 911. What are you thinking about this call?
Well, she is freaking out. I can't imagine being a teenager and discovering a parent dead in such a gruesome way with blood all over him.
Yeah. And to have the 911 be like, touch him. Can you touch him?
No.
And she's like, no, he's covered in blood.
I'm not touching him. I'm not going to prison for this.
Yeah.
Wake him up.
Cops get there, and moments later, Fabio's wife, Monica Sementilli, gets home, and she's crying her little eyes out. She's so sad. She's like, how could this happen to me? My husband and love of my life is dead. And Kate's arms were already crossed at this point in the ep. And I was sitting there, I watched this with my money, okay? Which is a great little tidbit because she is a hairdresser. So it was a perfect ep to watch with her.
I'm curious to know if Mom Money thought that Fabio was a talented hairdresser.
She did not go into that. They had a ton of awesome old footage of him. Clearly one of them was from a sizzle reel he made for a reality show about his life. I will bet $1,000 million on that, Kate. When he's like, now it's my time to shine.
And you know what? It's my time to shine now.
I was editing sizzles like that back in like 2008. Okay? So that's exactly what that was. What's up? You didn't think you had it?
I think some of them too were for like hairdressing competitions, because I know those are a very big deal.
Yeah.
And
he's like, wow.
Yeah, filled with action, dramatic cutting of the hair.
Almost like it was almost like a magician thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he cut off someone's ponytail and it was like, poof.
Now that you said a sizzle for a reality show, it's reminding me of all those early Bravo reality shows about hairdressers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean like Chaz Dean?
Chaz Dean and Jonathan.
Something.
His sister runs the Pussycat Dolls, and he had that line, products, and he had this hair paste called Dirt.
This might sound totally ridiculous, but as a child, I had bad hair.
There were so many people trying to get in on that reality train, and boy, did it pay my bills for a while. I don't think any of those sizzles got made, but it wasn't my fault. Those sizzles rolled. Okay, the cops are looking through the house, and the blood trail goes from outside to the hallway to the bedroom, and we see drawers emptied, which we know is the number one no-no for people that want a murder to look like a burglary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stop. Just don't do that. Do anything other than dumping out the drawers, and you might get away with this.
Drawers were pulled open, their contents on the floor.
So they go through the house, and nothing is really missing until they get to the garage. And I'm going to go ahead and let this person behind me pass me in the fast lane. I think her name's Garke. What's not in the garage?
That would be Fabio's brand new to him, but not actually new.
Yeah, that was kind of...
But it was new to him.
Porsche 911 Turbo. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Every single time this car was mentioned in this episode, it was called a Porsche instead of a Porsche.
And that's how I say it.
Fabio's Porsche.
Leaving in the Porsche.
There was the Porsche.
Just his Porsche.
Bought himself that Porsche.
Jillionaire and I were beside ourselves.
Really?
That's not how it's pronounced. It's Porsche. It's a German word.
Why does Jillionaire know that? Is that where you got your car love?
My parents met at a Porsche Club of America event. They both had Porsches.
Oh, wow. Put that in the book. That is good stuff. I love that. That's really cool. Okay, so it's Porsche. That's my bad. I'm going to remember to say that throughout this. But give me your thoughts on this car. Are you pro it? It looked like a convertible from later shots.
It was a convertible. I love Porsches. This is not the era of Porsche that I like.
Were you happy for him to get it, though? Or is it's not like an embarrassing
No,
whip?
of course. If that's his dream car, great. It would be embarrassing if it was just like a Mustang or a Corvette.
Mustang. Yeah, oh wait, somebody later buys a Mustang with the windfall of money.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Trashy people.
Her brand new Mustang.
I had a guttural reaction to this when they said that he had only had it for a month. This poor fucking guy. He's about to turn 50. He's got this big blowout party planned. And what a bummer to get to that point in life where he's like, I'm going to treat myself. Here's my dream car. Less than 30 days and he's dead. I mean... That's bullshit, man.
I don't think he'd even made the first payment on it. Although, he probably bought it with cash.
Yeah, it was new to him, as Mitzi said. I kind of like this detective. Okay, I know two Mitzis in the world, and they both are in L.A. Her, Mitzi Detective Mitzi, and Mitzi Shore, R.I.P., but owner of the Comedy Store. Do you know any Mitzis?
No.
I kind of like it, though. It's a fun name, right? Mitzi? Nothing? I think it's fun to say, Detective Mitzi. Anyway, I'm pro Mitzi, and I'm pro Fabio and his looks. Although the one that was probably from the sizzle, it looked like wet and like a Caesar cut or something. Maybe it's just a bad era. Okay, I'm not here to insult his styling, because all of his other looks, I liked.
This is what Timo Dali does. And this is where they do it.
I like this guy, and we get his background here, which was fun. He's from Canada, and we talked to one of his old buddies that J-Make, I think, was putting in the work on this one, because I don't think he was impressed. But you want to talk about his friend and what they got up to and their nicknames?
Well, I didn't really feel like this whole segment was necessary. J-Mank took his ass back up to Canada.
Yeah.
To the suburb where Fabio grew up.
Outside of Little Italy.
Our Little Italy.
And we see the neighborhood, the street, and we talk to his best friend. Why did we need any of this context?
Well, they do. I mean, if we're going to go with this is like a movie narrative, a big part of it is that he made his dreams come true. And even, I mean, I think, honestly, Kate, it might solely be for this interaction. Because one, we find out that the kid called him Ravioli growing up. Fabio's nickname was Ravioli, and his only reason was he looks like Ravioli. And I think it's like, because this poor guy had a chubby face.
Yeah,
like,
he was
right?
the fat kid, so he's Ravioli.
And he's like, and we built this airplane, helicopter, and J-Mank's like, oh, remote control? And he's like, no, it was like 2 pieces of wood. And J-Mank's like, this is it. So it wasn't going anywhere.
So it couldn't fly.
Yeah.
Very weird. All of it was very weird.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, he got out of the small town, he moved to the U.S., he made it big in Hollywood. But then they talked about how his goal was actually to move back.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
They had plans to return to Canada and grow old together.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think so the childhood friend literally says, like, we built this helicopter to take us out of here, and he actually made that trip. Do you think that came from the friend uncoaxed and J-Mank jumped onto it later for like a story arc? Doesn't it feel like so specific, like, to this story?
Like a producer was behind them feeding him lines.
Maybe. It's like, God, this guy just keeps talking about how fat he was as a kid.
And about how he could stand just so across the street from his house and yell for him to come out and play. Oh, right here? No, over here. 5 feet to the left. This is where I'd stand. All right, what are we doing? Can we get back to the murder? Like, why are we in Canada?
Yeah. Wait, isn't this episode supposed to be in L.A.?
That's his house here, and I come to his front, which would be here, and I would just call him over. Ravioli, come outside.
Ravioli.
Ravioli.
Oh, and we hear about how he got into hair because his sister was also a hairdresser. And I thought this was adorable, like the fun reason why he's into hair.
Yeah.
He would come down to the basement where his older sister was like working on her hair stuff, and he'd be playing the drums. And to get him off them drums, his sister was like, hey, come over here and start snipping.
Yeah. Do you think she's pissed that he became this superstar and she didn't?
I wonder, because he did work with her first. They were kind of like a team. And then he broke out on his own. That's a good question. Did he meet... Okay, so he gets married and has a kid, and we talk to the kid, and his look is inspired by his dad, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think of those, like, octagon glasses or whatever is going on? Did you like his look?
And the hair. Yeah. I mean, just very Gen Z.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. That wife, we don't even talk about at all, because the marriage had too many people in it, and one of those people was Monica. And so he meets Monica in Canada. Is that true?
Yeah, she worked at his salon.
She was a client first, then worked for him. Eh?
Look, things are complicated in life.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
But did he not think that this woman might cheat on him at some point when the circumstances in which they met were so shady? Like, she saw that he was married and she was just a client, but she was like, nah, I'm going to make him mine. Then she's like, I'm going to try to work there to get in there where I can. And she does. Mm-hmm. And then she fully inserts herself into his life, breaking up his marriage and getting him for herself. That's not a person who you can trust.
Now this is my chance to show Canada what I've got.
I kind of liked his vibe. Everything about him was cool. I liked his email that he sent about his birthday party. He was like, sisters, not allowed. And then he says, I know this is a bad time, but we'll never be so young again. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan of the whole, like, charge the mountain thing.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about this because it was his catchphrase and it was later stolen. But tell us the catchphrase, Kate, because this gets said a lot.
I can't really remember the whole thing. I blacked out every time I heard it.
He would always give us this little piece of sage advice: be smart, be strong, and charge the mountain.
It was like his own version of like clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
Yeah, but basically the point is when you get knocked down, get back up and charge that mountain, which I love that he had a catchphrase and everybody else was aware of it. I thought that was cool. Now, unfortunately, somebody else uses it too much and ruins it, I think. Do you think they still say it?
You mean his
family?
wife who killed him? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she abuses the hell out of that catchphrase.
Chin up. Charge the mountain. Sementilli Power.
Fabio gets a job for Wella, which my money was like, oh yeah, that's a big company.
It is.
So he got like job, not as a hairdresser though, like in the corporate end of it, right? I mean, he was also cutting hair, obviously, but he got like some sort of corporate job for Wella. He's making the big bucks. They buy a house with a pool in Woodland Hills, living it up. Do you party with Wella products?
Well, they don't sell those at Sephora and Ulta, but if you get your hair dyed at a salon, chances are pretty good they're using Wella products for the dye and the bleach and stuff.
Oh, that end of it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why my mom's familiar with it, because she'd be going to supply stores.
Yeah. She definitely uses that on her clients as well.
Sweet.
She may have used it on a teenage Kurt.
No doubt. I mean, I had it all. So, blonde, black, red, permed, bleached, all the stuff. So I no doubt had some Wella up there. I knew I had to get it in while I could.
Black must have looked crazy.
That was during my cable guy days. I looked pretty dope. Now we're back to current day and we're getting the scoop, the day of the crime. Monica goes for just a quick little run to Target. Just there for about an hour or so. And she comes back to the dead body. This is one of 2 times where my money told me not to be mean, but I can't help it when we talk to the lady who married Fabio's nephew. You remember this lady? She said when it happened, we immediately got locks added to our doors and like got blackout curtains and stuff so that people couldn't see in our house.
Oh, yeah.
In what world? I mean, she lived miles away, as Jamie said. But in what world is somebody like, all right, we got Fabio, now it's off to the nephew? Like, what? Why did she feel threatened? What do you think?
I don't know, especially early on where they thought it was just a robbery.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to get hit. Maybe this is something personal. We had locks, additional locks put on all of our doors.
So the son thinks it was a random attack or a part of what we hear are called the knock-knock burglaries.
At the time in Los Angeles, some people in broad daylight going up to front doors of houses and knocking, and if someone was home, they'd take off running. If not, they'd break in. That feels like it doesn't need its own title.
No.
That's just robberies.
Yeah. That was what was weird to me. There's nothing special about this scenario.
No.
That kind of sounds like how they all start, is with a knock-knock.
Is someone home? I'll go to a different house.
And they were dubbed the knock-knock burglaries. And basically it was people go up to your door and knock on the door.
And I'll say, I was in LA in 2017. I don't remember the knock-knock burglaries. I thought they were just going to start talking about porch pirates or package pirates. What are they, people who steal?
Do you remember this murder then?
No. I don't. I was into my true crime era in 2017. There's no doubt about that. But I don't pay attention to current murders and stuff as it's happening because I like to get it in a Dateline form.
Yeah.
So we hear about some of the stuff that was stolen. Costume, jewelry, clothes, and a DVR with security footage makes another appearance on a Dateline. So that's out of there. And Monica, who gets interviewed a few times, she's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the name of the company. Stop asking me.
The cops are like, do you have access to this security system? Like, can you look at it on your phone? And she's like, I don't know. Fabio did all of that. I have no idea.
I don't know anything about it. He took care of that. I don't even know the company name.
So they don't have any footage from the Fabio pad, but neighbors have cameras. And we see these 2 yahoos in hooded sweatshirts tied around their face so only their nose is sticking out, with their hands in the sleeves, speed walking up to the door. Was this not the funniest, out of context, funniest thing you've ever seen, Kate? Were you cracking up?
It looked like 2 10-year-olds.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought of like the Lollipop Guild or something, because they're even like doing this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe it. It was so funny looking, the way that they were power walking inside.
2 individuals running and turning into the street that led to the Sementilli home.
So J-Mink's reading the email that he had sent about his 50th bash, and he says something that I think was downright Murph Doggian. And that is, he's talking about his favorite things, and he goes, not whiskers and kittens, which is a reference to Sound of Music.
Not whiskers on kittens, but cigars, golf, and good liquor.
Didn't that feel like a Murph Dog reference?
It did.
was like, damn, dude. Look, I love it because we missed the guy. But I was like, see, even J-Make misses him a little.
Maybe Murph was in the studio when they were cutting this and was like, add this VO. Say this.
Jimmy probably rolled his eyes. Like, I'm going to say it, but I'm kind of laughing at you, dude.
It's not your episode, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be.
Oh, this was so sad because, like, he didn't even make it to his 50th. He was talking about how he didn't think he'd even make it to his 50th, and he didn't by a few days.
Yeah.
And so they have a memorial instead. And this was, I was getting a little misty seeing the picture of his hat on his favorite chair with a cigar and a drink.
Which is a little dark, considering he, like, died in that chair.
I know.
Murdered in that chair.
Or did he crawl to that chair to die? Because he tried to run and stuff. We'll find out later, but I'm confused about how he made it in that chair. Did he know he was dying and he crawled to it? I mean, that's also pretty dark.
Yeah. So this funeral was kind of crazy. It was afterwards, back at the house. Mm-hmm. Everyone's mingling. It's sad. And in comes this man that nobody knows.
Except for Monica.
Monica greets him at the door and brings him in, and he sits with her and only her, and he is beside himself. He is blubbering uncontrollably, and Monica's not even crying. And everyone's like, who is this guy? How did he know Fabio? Mm-hmm. Why is he here? And why is he so upset? And they realize, like, oh, they know him from LA Fitness. Fabio maybe met him once, but he's more Monica's friend because he's her racquetball teacher.
Yeah. Now, wait, we cannot go anywhere without talking about the straight up roasting that Fabio's sister does of this mystery man.
Well, he apparently had the cheapest leather jacket known to man. It was plastic leather, pleather.
That was peeling.
It was peeling.
Yeah. And this was so good because she's also like, he just looked gross, and I see the back of his head, he has like bald spots. I was like, damn. It's just like, this guy he seems like he's trouble. Now, in any other scenario, if this wasn't about this mystery man, that's not mystery to us, I would say like, cool it, Fabio's sister, but here I was loving it because it was super cold. And J-Mate goes, this was so good. J-Mate goes like, so what did Mr. Pleather have to say? Oh, yeah, Mr. Pleather. I was dying for him to bring that back later.
Does Mr. Pleather have a name?
A few days after the murder, cops get a call about a Porsche being seen sitting outside for a few days. Like it had been, what?
A what?
Oh, excuse me. Boy, this would be tough. Cops get a call about a Porsche sitting outside on the road, or sitting out like in a neighborhood street for a few days. So it gets called in. Mm-hmm. This turns out to be Fabio's Porsche. Mm-hmm. I friggin' loved this bit. This is where Mitzi, they sent the forensics team out there, and they found...
Then they start finding little tidbits of greatness.
This is good.
As in blood. Fabio's blood, but also someone else's blood. Because as we know, when there's a stabbing, most of the time, if the person doing the stabbing isn't wearing some heavy-duty protective gloves, the knife will slip as soon as they hit bone, and they will cut their own hand. So
yeah, there still hasn't been a knife invented that can circumvent that.
No.
Oddly
so
enough.
this you mean a murder knife? No, Kurt.
Yeah.
Buy this if you're doing murder. There's Fabio's blood and blood of an unknown person, and wasn't the windshield messed up?
I think that might have just been rain. Because when I texted you about this, I was like, look at this busted up Porsche. Well, upon further pics, it just kind of looks like rainfall. I don't know if it got busted or anything. It just looked like abandoned.
You know what else I thought was weird in this episode? Every single pic they showed was low res, and this was 2017.
Of the car?
High quality photos of the car, of the crime scene, of every person. It felt like this episode, like there's something happened with the up-resing or something. Or the cops lost the original files of all of their evidence photos, so the only ones they could provide to Dateline were like thumbnails that had been enlarged or something. Because
yeah, I can see that.
This is 2017. We've got the same quality photos we have now. What's going on?
Yeah. They did look rough. I mean, his car sadly never looked good in this episode. It never looked like a fun ride, unfortunately. What's weird about this Porsche is that it's not stripped for parts. It's just been abandoned. Everything is there. And even on the dead body on Fabio, these burglars, these robbers supposedly, left a Rolex on his wrist. And J-Make has a great line.
If you're going to take a Porsche, you're going to take a Rolex.
Blood on the pedal was Fabio, so that means the killer drove the car. And they get a DNA profile from, like, some blood spots up around the wheel. And they send it into CODIS. They're hoping for good news. J-Make really lays it down again that, about how, like, this is a burglary. Like, he had a great line, too. He goes, this was not a burglary gone wrong. It was a murder gone right. Whew. Swish.
Swish.
J-Make swish.
This wasn't a burglary gone wrong. It was a murder gone right.
We see more of the funny security footage of the little... That was great. Oh, this was great. J-Make's talking about how Fabio's blood was found in the bedroom on the drawers and stuff. So this tells you that the murder happened, then the robbery. Which again is like, that's why this was not a gone wrong. Wasn't that was some good little thinking there, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was Fabio had like crawled around the house trying to call 911 or something.
And Fabio's blood was found in the bedroom, meaning the killing happened first.
It's a few weeks later. It's Monica and Fabio's 20th anniversary, and she posts one of many Instagram posts that we see on the show. And what's she saying in this post, Kate, other than charge the mountain?
Charge the mountain. She is talking about how it doesn't feel real, how it was the love of her life, and she'll never be the same, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like almost too much.
Yeah.
And apparently she was doing this a lot. And that's definitely a red flag.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can see this happening with everything that's going on. With Mr. Pleather at the party and stuff. I mean, it's definitely suspicious. But you're right, because they're all very, like, dramatic and, like, if only I had this moment because I thought we'd have 1,000 more. Blah, 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 blah. I forgot to look if her Instagram account was shut down. It was Monica_Sementilli. You think it's still going?
Maybe. Are you allowed to have Instagram accounts from prison? Spoiler, she's in prison.
I could see one of her daughters running it for her, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because these two daughters are on the mom's side.
Crazy.
Okay, so the funeral stuff is all happening in Canada. And while that's going down and everybody's feeling so sorry for this widow, the cops are doing their thing. They get a CODIS hit on Valentine's Day, and it comes back to a felon that has a long rap sheet. He is like a sex offender. He molested his stepdaughter, and his name is Robert Baker. And J-Mang says, wait a sec, we've heard that name before.
Wouldn't you know that Robert Baker is Monica's racquetball coach from LA Fitness, Mr. Pleather?
That's him. What a day in the office this must have been for old Detective Mitzi, right?
Yeah.
Because they had heard about this Joker because family members were like, who is this weirdo? They were so weirded out by him. Some of the family members...
They took pictures.
Took pictures of him at that memorial because he had tape on a bandage on his finger. And we see the picture. What do you think that cuts from, y'all?
Doing a murder. But I will say that you could barely tell that there was a bandage on his finger because that photo was so low res.
That's absolutely... I mean, that's a great point there. That photo truly sucked. I paused it to look at it because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, hold up, I don't see a bandage yet. So what are you talking about?
I think the original photo, it's probably very clear. Something happened with these photos.
Do you think we should take a picture of him? We said, yeah, sure. They were able to take pictures without them noticing.
We hear more about Robert Baker. Not only, Rob, as we'll call him, not only is he Mr. Pleather, not only is he the love of Monica's life, but he's got a rich history.
A rich history?
Yeah, he was a porn star, y'all.
Oh.
We see a clip of him from the porn.
Yeah, but...
What?
He wasn't a star.
Okay, sorry if he's not famous enough of a porn star for UK to talk about it in a Dateline. But I was fucking here for it. And look, I even tried... Look, I'll admit, I tried to look it up. I want to see what this Rob was up to. I couldn't find it, for one. His porn name was just Rob. It's like... What can I do with that?
Yeah.
I can't Google Rob, the porn star. But that didn't, you're calling bullshit, huh?
It didn't seem like he had done it a lot, and it wasn't any kind of big production.
I wasn't familiar with his work. He's not from my...
It was old, what he was doing.
Yeah, early internet stuff. Because I love that, thank you, J-Mang, for giving us just a little sound up. Because you get the vibe of like, all we hear is like, oh, but he's upstairs. Like it's the right before undressing time. I was like, thank you, J-Mang.
My husband's upstairs. It'll have to be a secret.
Yeah, just between us.
And there was this professional detour.
He's upstairs.
I know.
He got out of porn and was just teaching racquetball at LA Fitness.
Now, how does a convicted felon and sex offender get a job at LA Fitness?
Yeah, or in porn, to be honest. I was reading on a blog, a person in the porn biz was talking about this case, going like, how did this slip through our fingers? He was a sex offender at the time.
That's why I think the stuff he was doing wasn't that legit. I mean, look, felons can absolutely get jobs. I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to be employed, but when you molest underage children, you should not be able to work at a facility where there are women and children.
Yeah, in a facility where there are rooms just for changing and stuff. Like, don't let it be a gym. Be at a place where you can't change your outfits or, like, be naked at any point.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a good rule to have.
Yeah. And he taught Monica and her daughter.
Yeah.
Her teenage daughter?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Who was straight up the age of the girl that he molested, like 14, 15.
That should not be allowed.
No,
and
great point.
A little insight into Monica's psyche. I mean, we haven't gotten there yet, but like, why is she into this guy?
I don't know, but she saw something in this guy. I think it might have to do with hog length, because there's a picture later where she's grabbing him by the crotch, right? I think Rob was probably packing. He's in the biz.
And that's more important to her than a peeling pleather jacket and bald spots on the back of the head.
I mean, Fabio's son had a bald spot. I didn't hear his aunt roasting him.
He did?
Yeah, a little bit. It's thinning back there.
How could you see the back of his head?
When he's walking, when he's doing his B-roll strut. Like pausing on benches and like overhangs, looking and going like...
Thinning is different than bald patches.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. So what I love about this, the cops do some cool shit in this episode. We got to give them some credit, some crafty stuff, because they've got all this info on Rob, but they sit on that. They go back to Monica, and they get her to talk about Rob without Monica knowing that they already know who Mr. Pleather is, right? So what do you do for fun? You like hang out with friends and go get sushi and stuff? What are these friends' names?
Mm-hmm. Oh, any men in the friend group?
Rob is our lead director for racquetball. I wasn't a racquetball.
What's Rob's last name?
So they get her talking lies, and they stay in the house post-murder. Now, if Monica hadn't done it, this obviously wouldn't have been a big deal, but because we know that she friggin' did it, like, people are giving her a hard time about it, and she's like, well, it's like I always say, charge that mountain. And for us, charging the mountain is living in the murder pad. Yeah.
I have an issue with Charge That Mountain because it doesn't account for the inherent privilege that someone like them would have. Like, Fabio worked hard to get where he is, no doubt. But also, you can't just say that because you had success, it was because of, like, your mantra. You know what I mean? It's like, after the fact, you're being like, well, you know, you can do anything if you just charge that mountain. It's like, no, not necessarily. If you're born in poverty or don't have opportunities like he had, don't have the means to move to another country, don't have the proper education to get a corporate job. Like, I have a lot of issues with stuff like that, where like anyone can do it if you just work hard. No, actually, no.
I mean, look, this guy can have this mantra for himself. I mean, right?
But would he have that mantra?
Monica's the one who's making it all public. He's telling it to his kids when they get in trouble or like fail a test. Like, is that bad?
Would he have this mantra though if he was like someone like Ron working at LA Fitness, a convicted felon?
Please.
Whatever.
Convicted felon. Tell me more. Sorry. Roast mode. Kurt's in roast mode.
Wait, what did I say?
You said felon.
That's because you're talking over me and I can't hear what I'm saying.
Ooh, well now it's got to go in the pod.
It was damp today.
Sure was damp today.
Another killer J-Man Klein. And this is why I'm glad Charge the Mountain's in there. Because he goes, investigators weren't climbing mountains.
LAPD homicide detectives were not climbing any mountains, but they were trying to get a better view of the widow in that house.
Oh! Wordplay off the charts!
Okay, J-Make.
And he's not even done yet. He's got a whole monologue later that I'm freaking here for. Cue up the spotlight. That was great. So then J-Make hops in the cop car to go for a ride-along with like the most self-important surveillance guy ever. You want to talk about this dude?
I've heard you describe SIS as surveillance on steroids.
Right.
First of all, Jillionaire loved this. She thought that this was cutting edge. I have to say I was not impressed. The LAPD has the manpower.
Yeah.
They can put as many people on one person as they want.
Yeah.
And the idea that this guy's like so proud to describe how there's never a lapse. We got someone on them at all times. And that this is like just the sexiest maneuver possible. It's like, okay, so when he leaves, another guy follows him so he doesn't think the same car is following him. Then they pick him up later, a different guy. This is like following 101.
Yeah, this just spoke to the budget of the LAPD. I was like, wow, they could get 12 people to pay to follow one person. Congrats.
Right.
I was not impressed with their methods.
No.
Like, there's a point later where they plant a GPS, and J-Minx, how long did that take? And they're like, well, if we did our job right, seconds.
When they're inside the Laugh Factory, that's when you guys put a tracker on Monica's truck.
That's correct.
How long does that take?
If we've done our job right, it's done in a few seconds.
Shut up, dude. Shut up.
What do you mean if you do it? Anyone can pop a magnetic tracker under a car. Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Husbands do that to their wives all the time right before they kill them.
Or sons that are going to later kill their own parents plant GPS on the neighbor's husband's car. Little shout out to Ghost Can't Talk.
Little shout out to that crazy woman, Kim, who we needed to know more about.
Oh, yeah. You remembered her name straight up. She was a Kim.
Oh, yeah, because I was fascinated by her.
You're right. Yeah.
How about any, like, investigative kind of things?
Okay, yes. That's not really investigative, but I did have him follow my soon-to-be ex-husband.
So J-Minx getting the scoop from this guy, and they're like, we didn't just post up on his apartment, okay? We followed him where we went when he crossed the street. And this, I mean, it's pretty dumb on Rob's part. Mr. Pleather goes across the street with a bag in his hand, or pulls his truck into a gas station, and then in walks Monica. We see all this on video.
Mm-hmm.
One of many great video surveillances we had going here.
Yeah, I guess he, like, bought her some shitty clothes, and she's holding it up to herself, being like, does this look good? Do I look sexy in this? And it's like some shitty nothing burger.
Yeah, I can't, it would be hard enough to buy one thing that I'd be confident presenting to my significant other. Maybe this is just the ladies I've dated. I'm not going to step on their style. Never would I feel confident to buy multiple things and expect her to be like, ooh, this'll work. Hell no.
Nope.
Never. So this was so funny and dumb. The cops follow them again across the street where they start making out. And the detective says the dumbest line.
It was rather intimate. What I would consider in layman's terms, 2 kids on prom night.
Good one, dude.
So they had sex in the back of the truck?
Yeah.
Just say it. I didn't do that at my prom.
Me neither. I like that J-May was like, so then it went from prom night to date night and more adult fare. They go to a bar and they go to the Laugh Factory. One, the original Kurt Cave was down the street from the Laugh Factory. I don't give a shit. I'll tell everybody, Kate, where I lived. OG Kurt Cave, down the street from Laugh Factory. I never went to Laugh Factory because I think it stinks. I go to a Comedy Store, obviously. And I tried my damnedest to look up who they were seeing that night in 2017. I was dying to know. I've got a guess. Do you want to guess who they were seeing?
Was it, D'Elia?
Oh, maybe. If he hadn't been canceled yet. Very possible.
He wasn't canceled till 2020.
Oh, you're right.
2021.
My guess was Joe Coy. They felt like Joe Coy fans to me.
Joe Coy. Could he headline the Laugh Factory in 2017?
He got the Golden Globes.
Not until 2023.
First of all, are you here defending Joe Coy? Maybe we just move on. Is that what's going on here?
I actually really do like Joe Coy.
Between that and Shane Gillis, Kate, your comedy choices got me stumped.
Listen, I don't know how I would describe what I think I'm just into all sorts of different points of view.
Fair. I'm a real snob about comedians and stuff, so that's why I was so quick to jump in here and make fun of you for it. It's probably not fair of me.
No.
They plant a tracker in her car, and this pays off dividends because they get her taking trips to Vegas with Rob. Tell us about these Vegas trips, because they're cutting loose all the while she's posting in memoriam posts on Instagram still.
She's talking about buying him a condo in Vegas.
Yeah. while they travel the world. She's like, I'll buy him a house in Vegas, but we'll be here in Paris.
And I guess this is because the insurance payout for Fabio...
$1.6 million.
Now, Jillionaire and I had the same thought.
Mm-hmm.
While that's big for a payout, it's not big in terms of... That money's going to go fast if she's doing all these things that she's talking about doing. All this travel and buying more properties. And that's not a lot of money.
Yeah, is she going to stay in Woodland Hills? I thought that same thing. I was like, boy, I'm glad you got busted because you would have committed another crime once this well ran dry in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
You can't own 2 homes, one in Vegas and one in LA, and then travel the world for 1.7.
No.
You can't do it.
Mm-mm.
So that would have been a harsh reality for her. So the cops bring Monica back again. They've like, we got more info on her. Let's get her back in and have her tell more lies. And they talked to her about her Target trip. Tell us about the footage of Target in the parking lot and her when she's leaving the door.
We see her, what looks like she's arriving to Target. Someone hops in for a hot sec. We don't know what's going on there. Probably Rob is hopping in so they can discuss how he's going to go do this murder.
Yeah.
Then she gets out and walks into Target, and she spends a very long time in there. An hour is pretty long for Target. I can be in and out of there, even when I'm doing a big haul, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, tops.
And now, 0 minutes, because we're boycotting, aren't we, Kurt?
Of course we are.
So this part, actually, I was finding myself defending her a little bit, because the footage of her coming out of the Target, they made a big stink about how she's glued to her phone. And they completely just surmise that it's because she's watching the surveillance video, so she knows that she's safe to return home now. And you can tell that it's something as serious as the surveillance for 2 reasons. One, because of how distracted she is walking out, where she almost misses the door and has to swerve back around. 2, because when they did take a look at her phone, they saw that there was a huge data usage for that exact time. Which would only be something like video.
Streaming live video, yeah.
Now, that's fair, and I'm sure that's what she was doing. But as someone who is often looking at their phone while in Target, I don't think it's that unusual to be like, oh, almost missed the door, looking at your phone, scrolling on Instagram, being like, wow, what? Oh, my bad, door's over here. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And couldn't you also say that that big data usage of live video could have been from anything? It could have been from social media.
No, well, here's what I'll say. I agree with you. It probably was her watching the murder location.
Absolutely. She did it.
But you can get that distracted looking at anything. Like, she almost walks into the Starbucks that was probably right there. And she was no doubt distracted, but it didn't have to be a murder. It could be Instagram. I'll defend the data cycling, though, because she's streaming video. That takes that could take a gig or whatever. Instagram is way less than that. So she's watching video. Look, maybe she's watching Dateline on the cock, and she's like waiting for it to buffer, and it's not loading and stuff because it's the cock.
But the cock didn't exist in 2017, so we know it wasn't the cock.
Fair. What was around? HBO Go.
HBO Go, Netflix.
Yeah. Boy, what a time.
Showtime anytime.
God, that was a good pull. This is crazy, okay? At some point, Monica flies to Canada to accept, on behalf of Fabio, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And, like, there's Fabio's sisters behind her. Like, and she's, like, giving this speech about how important their love was. This goes great in Canada. She flies back to LA. She's cruising around in her new Mustang with her boyfriend, Rob. And what happens?
They get arrested together.
She and Baker were driving in her brand new Mustang when police pulled them over and placed both under arrest for murder.
There was a lot of togetherness for this that we don't usually see.
No. And they put them in the back of the squad car together, and they were filming it, and we see them, and at some point when they're in the back of that squad car, she said something under her breath to him, like, somebody squealed, somebody snitched.
Somebody did this.
This angle, my God, this is, I think, far and away my favorite patrol car cam footage I've ever seen. Talk about from a movie. This angle was from a movie. They're both, what are they looking at? What are they looking at? They're looking out the window. Eyes are transfixed on something happening. And they look so guilty.
Oh, yeah.
And the video is so clear. Like, I feel like this is going to be the poster for the episode somehow. Wasn't this straight out of like a dumb criminal movie where it's like they're locked up in the back, like, oh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was good.
It was a different angle than we typically see when people are shackled back there.
Yeah, I mean, that camera had to be on like the cop's laptop or something.
It could have been on the laptop on the center console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cinematic as hell. I friggin' loved it. Monica goes to jail, and the cops aren't done with her yet, because what do? They friggin' plant somebody in there. And this isn't like someone singing a song for lesser time. They put a cop in the cell with her, because they know how dumb she is.
She actually doesn't, at first, give anything away. She talks about how much she loved her husband and how he was murdered, and it was so awful, and how her daughter found him. She wanted to make it very clear. Her daughter found him, and I came in 30 seconds later. Okay, thank you for that timeline.
Yeah.
You think clearly Monica's plan was that her daughter would find Fabio.
Yes, I do.
And then she's like, and now here I am being accused of killing him.
Yeah. And you hear the cellmate, who we know is a cop, just trying to say stuff to get her to keep talking. Everything the cellmate was saying, I was kind of laughing at. I was loving it.
That must have made you really mad, huh?
Yeah. Really like trying to instigate a convo. And when that's not working, a detective rolls by and says, what's up, girl? BT dubs. Rob killed your husband. And this is when she puts on a show, doesn't she?
No.
And she starts crying and going,
It can't be true. No.
Yeah.
He did it because you told him to.
Yeah. And the cellmate's going, oh, so was that your lover? And she doesn't say, no, not lover. She goes, oh, more than lover. Okay.
My confidant, my best friend.
Yeah. Ugh. So crazy. I read somewhere else this is called a lockdown over here, or lock up over here is what they did here. Do you think cops should be able to do this? I'm not sure I don't remember them planting a cellmate that was a cop. This is kind of new to me.
I think you can do it. Because if someone's innocent, they're not going to tell them anything.
They put her in a cell with another inmate who, unbeknownst to Monica, was actually a member of law enforcement.
So years go by, they're both locked up waiting for trial, and then freaking COVID happens, so even more years go by. It's 6 years later when a relative bomb drops. I'm crazy this dude stuck to his guns, because in October of 2023, Rob pleads no contest, which they point out is the same as saying guilty, which is weird, right?
Then just say guilty.
But he takes a plea deal, but the plea deal is, I did the whole thing, Monica didn't do it, and the deal part of it, guy got life without parole.
Where's the deal?
Where's the deal here? Yeah. So now the prosecution is going, well, now he's a witness for the defense. This is trouble. We've got to find that other person. So now Mitzi's going through the record. She's looking at phone logs, trying to figure out who that other guy with the hood scrunched over his face. Something stood out to Mitzi is that they can't find any texts and stuff, but there was a Facebook message to a guy named Chris Austin who lived in like Alaska, and all it said was download the WhatsApp. So like so WhatsApp is the go-to for criminal talks. Like they can't like get it legally.
WhatsApp is encrypted. It's also the most popular app internationally. Everybody's using it except for Americans.
And this is a real plague of Dateline houses. J-Mink puts the emphasis on a funny part of the word. He goes, download.
Download.
Telling him to download an encrypted messaging app.
Yeah. Every time it happens, I'm going to play it now, because this is like 3 in a row where somebody is saying something funny. It's got to be something with like the journalist pronunciation rules or something.
Boogie into what else? We Are Family.
It seemed like a dead end.
To download.
So Mitzi gets her hands on airline records. Rob Baker's phone pinged near LAX on the day that this Chris Austin fella arrives in LA. So it's looking good. What also happened is Chris Austin had gotten the rental car that he had. He got a ticket later in the day, a few miles from the murder scene. Oh my! This was the most like karma, like just these. I love when like citations are the reason you get busted. It's like all he had to do was keep his seatbelt on. He refused to wear a seatbelt. That's why he got busted.
Put your seatbelt on, dude.
Austin had been pulled over for a seatbelt violation about an hour after the murder.
God, I love this. I mean, he wouldn't have never gotten away with it at all, but I love these things where it's just like a cherry on top of like, dude. Fortunately, Chris Austin, well, not a good dude. He's better than Rob, right? Because he does not side with Monica. He's ready to sing for the prosecution. So now prosecution's like, now we can go to trial.
And they put him on the stand. And he is, I think, the only one telling the truth. in this whole thing. And it's exactly what we have thought from the beginning, that he and Rob went in there to murder Fabio because Monica told them to. She left the door unlocked. She told them the layout of the house. She told them where to take the DVR security camera stuff from, where the keys to the Porsche were.
Directions to log into the DVR system as well.
Investigators saw Monica had forwarded to Baker instructions on how to log on to that system.
Monica's defense loves to try and play like, did you ever see texts from her? Did you ever see this from her? It's like, no, but she left the door open, you dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't...
She told us when to go.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done this without her. And no, I wasn't directly communicating with her. Rob was. She doesn't know me.
Yeah.
Unclear if they had ever met.
No, and what I thought was fascinating was the original plan was to kill him the night before. And Chris was camped out where he was getting carry out. Also, how would he know where Fabio is going to be picking up carry out if Monica had not texted Rob on WhatsApp and said, now's the time? But Chris doesn't have the stones, and so they got to do it the next morning. I liked seeing how miserable Chris was, because this is 6 years later, right? 7 years later. Dude had went back to Alaska, got married, had a kid. Like, he thought he was
He's got a whole
home
life.
free.
And he seems like he's a decent guy. I mean, it's hard to say that when you know what he participated in, but he seems friendly and likable.
Yeah, and remorseful. And now you could say, well, it's because he got caught. Fair enough. But I liked the part when he was like, Rob kept trying to tell me I was still a good man. And Chris kept saying, I'm not a good man.
No.
You're not, bro. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And he was like, you're good. Like, you're still a good person. I was like, I'm not a good person.
Man, and so the defense is like, well, he took a deal. He got 16 years. He'll probably do 10. I mean, so right now we got 2 down, 1 to go. Monica trial time. Rob's in jail forever. I think Chris will be out in 10. That seems like a fair assessment to me. My money kind of likes it, or she wants people who do the physical stabbing to get more time. I'm kind of with the law here. I'm more mad at the person pulling the strings.
But he he said he really only stabbed him like once, and that Rob did most of the stabbing.
Yeah.
And considering the night before it went so poorly and he didn't have the stones, as you say, that I believe that he was way too timid to do the heavy lifting on this.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about the payment. He didn't want to do it, but Rob had reached out like 6 months prior and kept hounding him about it. And he's like, you'll get between 30 and 50 grand at some point. Red f***ing flag. Look, you can never hire me to kill anybody, but here are my rules if I were to get down with it. You got to pay me first, bro. That's what I would say if I was these killers, because you're never going to see that money.
No.
Ever.
And also, that is not enough money. And we've seen it done for way less on Dateline. Some people do murders for like $3 or $5 grand.
Or $500, dude.
Sure.
$200. That's what we've seen.
If I'm going to do a murder, I need millions of dollars.
Yeah, I agree. It should be worth more. 30 to 50 is a ton of money, but the only payment he gets is what he's told is $10,000 in gold coins that Rob had slipped into his pocket that he got from Fabio's safe. Now, I would say if I was this conspirator, hold the phone, get your hand out of my pocket. This was not part of the agreement that you were going to hand me something that I've got to now fence. Like, how is he going to cash in these gold coins?
It can be traced back to Fabio.
But that's another step, too. It's like these gold coins are worthless.
Yeah.
I can't buy my ticket home with a gold coin. Like, this kind of stuff, I'm like, no, this needs to be addressed up front.
Let me drive down to the Federal Reserve and see what I can get these for.
Yeah. Yeah, and what are they, like, just solid gold? Like, what kind of coins are they? All of it is just like, this is dumb.
Because not all collectible coins, some are just plated, some are just decorative.
Yeah.
Some aren't an actual form of any kind of money.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they could be commemorative coins.
Yeah.
Sold by, remember Mommy and Clyde? How her and her husband in the 70s and 80s sold commemorative coins for the bicentennial?
Oh, my God.
Remember that? What if it was those? What if it was 10 of those? Oh, man. We don't hear about what happens with those coins. The prosecutor's really laying it on here, and her point for why Monica did it, I don't know if I believe. She's got other reasons. I think it's most to do with greed. But she said that she's Italian Catholic and wouldn't want to get divorced. But Monica's own sister gets up and says you can be in love and cheat on somebody. It happens every day. So it kind of sounds like Monica's family would have been okay with a divorce.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and also Fabio had
Yeah.
to get divorced to marry her.
Yeah. And they were born out of infidelity too.
Yeah.
So that's BS.
100%.
Luckily, there's way more evidence against her. Like, first thing she says to the son is about life insurance. That was really telling.
Isn't it pretty scary that this woman, everyone would have thought she just loved her husband so much, and this whole time she's planning his murder for months and months and months, and she's sleeping with a sex offender who's disgusting.
Yeah.
What is the deal? This woman's crazy.
Yeah, in one of those lockup overhears, she says that her husband was never home, like ever. And so that would be the motivation, I guess. But then on the stand, Rob is like, I killed him because he's home too much. Y'all should have, your stories don't really line up here.
If he's gone too much, that's the dream. Where's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like, they could just keep rolling like they're rolling.
You can just hang out with your girls at the house.
Right? Like, they don't have to kill him. They could just keep f***ing around.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to kill him.
This is where J-Mate comes in for his friggin' slam dunk. He's in a courtroom, looking good. And he says, he's like doing this and stuff. He's like, and here's something that we see all the time if you watch Dateline. And he says what we say all the time of like, and he the way he phrases it is so good. It's like,
it goes like this. I'm a liar. I lied to my husband. I lied to my relatives. But murder? I would never do that.
Wasn't this, what, did you love this or what?
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, they really gave it a whole setup. I feel like J-Make is with us where he's like over it when people say the same shit over and over again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. While we're in the courtroom, this is 2025, okay? This is happening in 2025. Stenographer, no mask. She's doing it old school typing. But did you notice there was a painting by her that changed on different days? Now, I wonder if it was like what she stared at while she was typing to like get into the zone. What do you think?
I hadn't considered that.
And have we ever talked about this fact? Have you ever seen a male stenographer?
No.
Never.
Never.
It's another thing that they're maybe not allowed to do.
Because men can't multitask.
That's it. I mean, not once have I seen a male.
No, they would fail miserably.
Never.
Women can do like 5 things at once.
J-Mate got in another suit burn when Rob was on the stand. Shackled and poured into a borrowed suit. Ooh!
Brutal.
I know you like that. Oh, wait, real quick. Monica, during the trial, was doing, you know my rules in Judge Money's courtroom. The defendant, not allowed to take notes.
Yeah.
Pencils down.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes up in my courtroom. Way too much note taken on her end. I'm like, you're not saying anything. I want you to process this.
What are you writing down? What are your notes?
What? It's obviously nothing. She's probably doodling.
She's probably doodling.
Oh, she was doing a ton of that. Oh, this was wild. We find out, this was no doubt not part of the plan, that we can pretty much assume that was Rob in the Target parking lot, because an hour before then, Rob was on the same footage of the same Target exit leaving that Target. So he got some of his own shopping done while he was waiting for Monica to show up. This dummy.
So stupid.
Oh my God. That was so dumb. Okay, here we go. This is where the prosecutor had me laughing so hard I had to rewind it. Okay? That is when she's got Rob up in the stand. And she's like, is it true that here in this very filthy, disgusting, gross lockup room, you two were intimate?
Do the two of you engage in various sex acts right here in the disgusting, filthy lockup behind this courtroom?
I just couldn't believe that they would be up for that in that moment.
Yeah, this is where Rob is like, she showed herself. And that's all he would say was...
I think she showed herself, yeah.
She did, right?
She showed herself.
Meaning what? What did she show?
Herself.
Like, he didn't do any favors on the stand, I thought. His tude was no good.
Why can't he just say her vagina?
Yeah, or like boobs, or whatever it was. And he was like, well, we weren't being intimate because we were separated, but yeah, she showed herself. This is what I was talking about with the jerking off. He's over on one side cranking, and she's over there going, ooh la la.
Yeah, okay. I didn't get the sense that there was some cranking.
Well, come on. Oh, you thought it was like just looks for later? Like he's putting it in the bank?
I don't really think I gave it much thought, to be honest.
Oh, all right. Well, look, the 48 Hours talked to him, and this is when he was like, what else is there to do in prison? He says something like that. So maybe that's why I think that. Maybe this is where Future Kurt hops in. Get in here, Future Kurt.
No.
Thank you. J-Make and Dateline put more weight into this than I thought it was worth. They had a jailhouse recording of Rob saying, like, I'll lie for you, kind of.
There was one more thing the jury heard. Something impossible to unhear.
Did you hear this recording? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
He was like, "You got nothing to worry about. I'll take the heat." But he didn't say it that clearly, I thought.
No, it was implied that he said, like, I would do anything. I'll lie on the stand. I don't care.
Yeah, that was weird. So verdict comes in, I think 9 hours later, right? They don't take days. It's that day, I think. Guilty of first-degree murder with special circumstance. What's that mean, Kateline?
That she wasn't actually present for the murder.
Oh, okay. So she had that and conspiracy, I believe. And J-Make says, so automatic sentence, life without parole. What? Because it's first-degree murder or what? Is that?
Probably.
I thought that was pretty dope, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of these fools are in jail forever. That's pretty cool.
That's where they should be.
Yeah. And now, this is a huge reason why I love this ep. Never, ever, ever has a Dateline ended so powerfully as this episode.
Wow.
After an hour and a half, 2 hours with commercials, talking about Fabio, we see a current-day Fabio in a talking head interview that's not the same setup as a Dateline talking head, way too bright and straight on and stuff, but it's the closest we've ever seen a victim doing their own talking head in the history of Dateline. Can you agree, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He did like some hair video or something, and they're asking about his family, and he's like, he's literally saying, the dead guy we're talking about is like,
I have sisters who I adore, and my own family unit is the most dear to me.
Tears over here. This was a gut punch, Kate. This got me. This got me good. Were you and Jillionaire like, snooze, what's on next, or what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on. All right, well, as I dry my eyes, it's time for those lists. What do you got, Kate?
Kate's unnamed list. Well, we didn't mention it here on the pod, but Rob did have a military background.
Sure did.
They mentioned it in one sentence, that he was a convicted felon, a child molester, and a military man.
He was a 54-year-old Army veteran who served as a staff sergeant and recruiter for more than a decade.
And, of course, we have a car. We got that Porsche Turbo.
Car Kate, absolutely Porsche Turbo. Are we including the Mustang or just the Porsche?
No, just the Porsche, because it was involved in the murder, and it helped them solve it.
Totally. What else?
I think that's it.
Kate. J-Make, now he did a little word twist on you, because you know how he loves the wordplay like me. Is he said at one point, going through those phone records,
one needle in that haystack of phone activity stood out.
Needle in a haystack.
I missed that. That's definitely on the list. I didn't hear it.
This one is iffy. Chris Austin on that stand is talking and crying and stopping and talking and crying.
He did say I'm sorry on that stand, but do we count it if it's not in the interview with J-Mank?
That's your call. This one's an outlier. I mean, it's up to you. You counting it or no?
No.
Okay, it's out. And now it's time for Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
Right off the bat, a story like a movie, but what kind? On the list. Straight away. We're doing it like the projector stuff. Oh, I love it. Next up, Not Whiskers on Kittens. Sound of Music. Movie reference. On the list. Porn. Porn is movies. Okay? And now you might say that he's not a professional. He's professional enough to make that list. Next. During the lockup over here, the cop says, sounds like a bad movie.
That's like a bad movie.
That's on my list. Especially adding the bad part. You know, I don't like that part either.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, prosecutor in the lead up of the trial says,
This is a homicide case that's going to look an awful lot like a Hollywood movie, except that it's reality.
I wonder if she starts every murder trial like that because she's in LA. Like, I was like, come on.
Maybe.
So that's on there. And I still got more because Rob on the stand is talking about how we just think that Monica did it. Because if you watch those Datelines.
If you watch the Datelines and all that, you look into the family members first.
The Datelines.
That was great. And then, of course, J-Mank, in his lead up to his monologue in the courtroom, under the spotlight, says,
the defense Monica Sementilli is offering is a familiar one if you watch Dateline.
We do. We do watch Dateline.
Well, the show Dateline, talking about Dateline, on the list. I think this was... Now that we've talked about it and stuff, do you have positive thoughts about this Dateline? Or just positive thoughts about this record?
Is this going in the pod?
Well, maybe. I want to know if you like it better now that we talked about it, because you don't like it at the beginning of this episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I just didn't like that it was given away by the title.
Right. Okay. All right. Look, there have been times where you come around by the end. And by times, I mean, I think it happened once, and I chased that high every week.
There's nothing wrong with this episode. It's literally the ruining of it with the title.
Fair. All right, well, I would encourage the Holt heads to check out the video version of this on YouTube, and then check us out on TikTok as well. I'm Lester Holt. And join our ILH Patreon to get 2 bonus eps a month, not about Dateline. That's a ton of fun. And we just talked about A Murder, She Wrote that was killer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, she's... Yes, she certainly is.
I'm sorry, Mother.
And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I'm Lester Holt. For all of us, I'm Lester Holt. Good night.
As a child, I had bad hair.